Thank you very much for joining us. Lightning round, another edition of the lightning round. We will start it out with Jared Smalley from WCMH. Jared, go ahead, lead us off.
All right. Hi, Ryan. Obviously, they're from the radio show getting the understanding that CJ is going to play Saturday. My question is about your comfort level you developed last week with getting both Kyle and Jack in the game, getting them reps, real-time opportunities to play. Where is your comfort level now? If there is a setback, if you need to go to them, the fact they've got something on tape you can go to from experience.
I think it goes a long way that these guys now have been in games before, so that's good. We still have to play more to have a body of work, but it's good for them to have a reference point of what the consequences are of doing something or not doing something, or the rewards from preparing or not preparing, or whatever those things are, because you don't quite really understand what it is in practice until you get into a game, and some good lessons learned there, and anytime we can do that, we want to do that and make sure those guys get those reps. When it's appropriate, we will. But CJ's had a good week of practice and looking forward to Saturday.
All righty, we'll go next to Austin Ward, Letterman Row.
Ryan, how long did you suspect that Steel Chambers might be better served playing linebacker? And was there a sense of relief when he bought into that and decided to make the move, so that, because you'd said before that a player had to be committed to that before you guys would ever make that next step?
It was something that we brought up with he and his family during the recruiting process, that this is something that we may visit along the way if again appropriate. And we brought it to his attention this spring. I think that everybody in the program felt like he could be a good linebacker. Now you have to really embrace it. That's a big decision. And so he kind of went over there and split time, and then felt like this is something he wanted to embrace. And like you said, you have to embrace it. You can't be forced into a situation like this. But what a great decision by him. And we're very fortunate that this has worked out, because he's really, in a short period of time, he's grown. Certainly not a finished product, but I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him if he continues to work on the path that he's on and continue to build, because there's been some things that I've seen out of him that I think are special. So I'm excited to see him continue to work and build. Again, has been playing the position very long, and so the more reps he gets, the better he's going to be.
All right, we'll go next to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Ryan. It's obvious that Travion is a special talent. Just how unique is he, and what's the next step in his development?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that, we're 4 games in, and we're going to continue to learn more as the time goes on. But, he needs to first off just focus on taking care of that football. That's the first thing. He's got to take care of, the little things in terms of protection, making the right reads and preparing, just like everybody else. You can see his ability to, like you said, to be special and take the ball, from the second level to the third level to score a touchdown, and he's a home run threat, and that's good. But it doesn't work without our offensive line. I mean, I think he understands how important this is. It's team football, and whether it's covering Chris and Garrett on the outside or the offensive line blocking up front, this is a team effort, and I think our offense is embracing that. I think we're unselfish, and I think they understand that in order for us to be good on offense, we have to be balanced. But again, this is just a start for him. He's 4 games in. I think he's better now than he was 4 weeks ago. And I think the whole running back room is too. And I think it's got to be a strength for us as we move forward. But we'll see. Still got a long season ahead of us, and so we'll keep growing on it.
Thanks.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Ryan, you guys have 5 players from New Jersey, 3 from New York. Kind of what's made that a valuable recruiting area for you? And now that Rutgers is kind of starting to build some momentum, are you getting more resistance on the recruiting trail from Rutgers?
I think all those guys are excited to get back to the Northeast, which is great. And, some good players, and Greg, had his hand in recruiting several of those guys. So, it's always been an area that has a lot of talent, a lot of good players, and Greg's doing a good job of recruiting in that area. And so I think it's always special when we go back to our homes and where we're from, and we see family there. And I think that some of these guys had a big ticket requests. And so obviously they're excited to see their family and friends back home. But a lot of respect for the Northeast. Certainly I know, growing up in the Northeast as well, all the great players in New Jersey, New York, and that area. So it's obviously an important recruiting area for us as well.
All righty, we'll go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Ryan, just what ways has Paul Rhodes been helpful with the defensive staff as it's had to go through some of this sort of urgent problem solving early on?
I think he brings a great approach for our coaches of just somebody who's been a head coach before, who's been a coordinator at a couple different stops, and brings some experience to the table in that room. His job is really to kind of help out with the other coaches. And I think it's good to have that experience in that room and really appreciate his professionalism.
Alrighty, next up, we'll go to Tim May. Tim?
Yeah, Ryan, quarterback misses 2 straight throws, and there are a lot of fans that want him out of there, get to the next guy, et cetera. I'm just asking you, from a coach's standpoint, what is the tip? What tells you whether a guy is on that day or off, if you follow my drift? I mean, just give a couple of telltale signs you're always looking for from the sideline.
Well, it starts with the week of practice. If guys are doing it in practice, then typically, you're going to see the same type of things in a game. But there are certainly wild cards when that happens. Maybe guys aren't seeing it as well that game that can happen. And there's a lot of factors that play into that. And I think it's kind of a game by game, case by case situation of when do you think, a guy's, feeling it, he's in a rhythm, or when he's not, because there's a lot of things that come into play. There's protection, there's route running, there's all those type of scheme. And so, identifying what that issue is at the moment, and then maybe trying to help them get into a rhythm is important. But again, it's usually, I would say, just to answer your question, it's probably a case by case situation based on what going into the game.
And is a shovel pass a good way to get out of it?
The shovel pass?
Yeah, no, you kind of got Kyle going last week with a couple of shovel passes,
Yeah. Well, you try to find ways to get him into a rhythm. I mean, that's part of it. And by playing the position, I kind of understand sometimes where, in the first game, you can all of a sudden start to, in your mind, build things up that, maybe aren't there. You just got to trust your eyes and trust your training. And then once you get into the rhythm and you kind of flush out all those nerves, you can go back to playing the game. And so tried to do that a little bit the other night.
I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Alrighty, next up, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Hey, Coach, in talking with Travion last night, we got into him being a finance major, and when he wasn't playing high school ball, he studied wealth management, really got into it. Are you familiar with his investment acumen, and could he manage your millions?
Well, I am aware that he likes to invest his money. It was probably in the springtime. I walked by one of the hot or cold tubs, and he was in there on his phone. And usually the guys are, on social media, listening to music or watching videos. He was checking the stock market. I think at the time he had bought Tesla with some of the money that he got from a scholarship check, I believe. And we talked about that for a little while. And he was very upset that Tesla at that time had gone down a little bit. So he lost a little bit of money that week. And I just thought that was pretty neat. I hadn't really heard much about that. I know Sam Hubbard maybe did that a few years ago. But even for a young guy to take that money and invest moving forward is, pretty forward thinking and very mature for a young man. So, that's part of the deal, is investing in your future. It's not what you make, it's what you save. And, we're just impressed by that whole interaction.
Shows you
All right,
he's a
we got time for
self-starter,
just a
right?
couple more. We'll go first to Jeremy Birmingham, Letterman Row. Jeremy.
Hey, Ryan, with the emergence of JT Tuimoloau, with Jack, with some of these young guys on the defensive line, how important is it for you to see the next step be taken by Tyreek, by Javonte, to put themselves in a position where not only are they back to being in that leadership role you expected, but to be on the field because those other guys are playing so well?
Yeah, I think, we need those guys to be, impact players for us. And, that whole, unit, we got some different guys. We have some older guys, some younger guys, different guys who, are maybe in year 2 and 3. So it's a little bit of a mix right now. But yeah, anytime you have guys with the talent level that they have, you're looking for impact players there. And so, the better they practice, then the better they're going to play. And so now as we get into conference play, this team needs them.
All right, next up, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, with CJ, was there a point in practice the last couple days where he showed you that he was ready to return and play, and that gave you confidence in him?
Probably about halfway through Tuesday. I thought he knocked a little bit of rust off Tuesday, the beginning of practice, and then finally got into a rhythm about halfway through Tuesday, and then had a good day yesterday.
We'll do two more. First one to Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Scoop.
Ryan, you were just talking about the maturity of Travion Henderson. You've spoken well of Emeka Egbuka. How mature is this freshman group overall, and how much of that is allowing them to play as opposed to just their sheer talent?
Well, I think when you combine maturity and talent and production, then you have something special. And I'm excited to say that I see that in some of these guys, which is great. Not just the young guys. See it in a lot of our guys. See it in some of the older guys, some of the experienced players who have been around, and that's great. But it is exciting to know, that the future is really, really bright when you have talented young men who have maturity and have a seriousness and a focus and an approach, like some of the guys on our team, and that's exciting. And there's obviously some mentoring that's going on right now across the board for these guys, and that's great. And so the more we can build on that, again, the brighter the future is going to be.
And last question, we'll wrap it up with Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, when you have a young quarterback, whether it's this year, whether it was 2019, Justin's first year, how much does having an established running game with what Travion's been doing, with JK doing that year, how much does that help a young quarterback and maybe take some of the pressure off him to immediately be the best version of himself?
I think it's huge. Yeah, I think that anytime that you have a balance and you're forcing teams to stop the run, that changes it. It turns them into one eye structure, or opens up the middle of the field, for down the field throws, and then allows the guys on the perimeter to be as good as they can be, and that's a better way for a young quarterback to come along. So establishing the run is critical. I don't think that maybe in the Oregon game we did that enough and probably put too much on CJ. So what we got to do moving forward, and I think it's been an emphasis the last couple of weeks, is establish that run game to build that balance, and then, like you said, take a little pressure off. But we need him to play well regardless. We got really good playmakers on the outside, and we need to get them the ball in space and make great decisions. And if we're doing that, then we got a chance to be really good on offense and find that balance we're looking for.
All righty, Coach. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you Saturday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.